Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. It's time to trust your intuition. This is your inner knowings. Through questions and points of conversation, I can help others feel empowered. With the ability to touch people's past lives, I help others connect and not feel alone. Sit with me and call in live, 888-994-4995. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe. Okay, I have two very special people in the studio today, Dawn and Freddie. They are on my show. They're going to be my guests today, so I have no idea what they're going to ask me, but here we go. Anybody that wants to call in, the number is, and I'm going to turn it over to her.
888-994-4995, Studio A. Actually, this is the Call Me Zena show. We just happen to be your guests today.
That's correct.
At the studio.
Yeah. So anybody that wants to call in, or Dawn and Freddie, I'm ready for all your questions. Anything that you want to ask me.
What's today's subject matter?
Today's subject matter, and I think we had talked about this, and I don't usually actually know what I'm even going to talk about at this point, but it's about vibrational energy. And I believe, and it's very appropriate, because here I am sitting in the studio with my two famous guests here, and so many people have walked in, and they are, you can attest to this, where the energy has been, they're like-minded. It's ever since I've been here, I've had people come in and they kind of, it's like they know what I'm thinking or what I'm talking about. Have you seen that? It's just been incredible. So if you want to ask or call in about anything more on the subject of vibrational energy, how we attract positivity, but on the flip side, we can also attract negativity. So hopefully the show is going to be very positive today.
Tell us about the vibrational energy you feel when you came here, because it's been over a year already.
Yes, actually, definitely. I felt, I mean, I could say this, but you guys know me now for a long time. The moment I walked in here, I can honestly say I felt like I was coming home. And that may sound silly, and it has a lot of things when you say home, but I felt the first thing is I felt very, very comfortable here. I felt like there was more going on in the studio. I don't want to just say this because I think that we can talk about some of the things that have happened. It's not just me thinking that these things happened. We've had many people walk in. We can be talking about a topic and somebody in the audience will be asking a question that they had thought about before they came here on the exact same topic that we're talking about. Vibrational energy flows. It flows around everybody. So I believe that we attract what we think. So we have opened the doors here to my show, and we've attracted the people that are interested in what I do. I mean, I don't know before I started here how many people were coming in that were like-minded like myself. I'm not sure, but I know that you had mentioned some. But it seems like am I correct in saying that more people have shown up here since I've been doing my show?
Absolutely, and it changes, I say the energy, but the energy of what's happening in the studio. When people are here, the vibration raises. When it's quiet every which way.
It's true because everything has its own spectrum. You can't destroy energy. It continues to grow. What I liked about ever since you've come here, and there's been others that have followed you, is that it seems like the vibration has increased. And the awareness. See, because it's all about the awareness. That is the only thing that people just don't come to realize. So I want you to explain recognizing this vibration is as important, if not more important, than thinking you don't have it. Everybody has it.
Everybody has it, but not everybody knows that they have it, and that's the difference. I've become very aware of that over the years. I mean, many things that I thought were absolutely, and I was talking to someone the other day about that, we thought was coincidental. But it's somehow they want to contact us. So I could be talking about something, and suddenly so many things happen on that particular subject. It's not always easy to recognize it. Sometimes we think it's just coincidence, but it's not. There's so much, I'm going to say, going on behind the scenes that we don't know. So to open up to that, I think it's a very, very important thing. So if you guys ask me maybe some questions that we can think of that's happened maybe over the year and a half that I've been doing the show.
I was even thinking about songs. I talked about this last week. I was leaving the lab on Friday morning. You weren't in the studio. And as I'm leaving, Stevie Wonder's song, Don't You Worry About a Thing, came on.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, that's pretty amazing. And so I always recognize and thank them for the messages. And then When You Wish Upon a Star was just on.
And actually, it's funny that you said that. Today I was listening. I turned on the radio, and I was feeling a little down because I also get down. I don't remember the song, but it was so appropriate that came on. I said, oh, my God, Aldo's there because he's playing this for me. I can't remember it, but it was so very appropriate at that point. So nothing is coincidental. And I think you have a question. What's your question?
Baxton, did you have a question?
Baxton.
No, I did have a question. I was just catching.
Take your mic.
Is this mic on?
Z2. Z2.
We're good? All right, so we were talking about music. Do you believe that people who have passed can be connected through certain songs?
100%. I believe that. Absolutely, because it's happened to me so many times.
It's just I've recently lost my uncle, and every single time this specific song comes on, it's almost something that's unexplainable. It's almost like he's in the car there with me, and it's not any other songs. It's just that one specific song, and it's the strangest thing in the entire world.
Absolutely. It's happened to me for many, many years now. It may not be the first song that comes on, but we'll switch the radio on and whatever it is, and music, and the song will come on. I lost my daughter about just under 2 years ago now. Her name was Caroline. When I'm going through certain things, and you guys know this, I'll put on the music, especially it happens in my car. First thing I will hear is Sweet Caroline. I mean, once, even twice. How does that happen all the time? Usually it is the first song. It could be the second or third. I could switch the station. It'll come on again. I mean, this just doesn't happen. It's real. It is real. I think, I don't know what's easy for them or what's not easier for them, but I believe it's easy for them to do that because it happens so many times.
It's craziness because the day he passed, I'm not kidding you, I was sitting alone in my apartment, and out of the corner of my eye, I could swear that he was sitting in my armchair. It was probably one of the most crazy experiences of my life, knowing that he was sitting in my armchair. Like, it was just like one of those things that you catch if your eye for a split second and then it's gone. It was the craziest
that's
thing.
beautiful. The most important thing about this whole conversation that we're having is that if we become aware of it, because many people, it happens to everyone. I'm going to say, I'm not sure, but we all can do this. But the most important thing is to become aware of it. When you become aware of it, it's kind of like they know. They know that I can give messages, so I'll get something or I'll hear the song. Just be aware of what's going on, because so many people will overlook that. They'll go, oh, that's coincidence. I did that for many years. But today I realize, no, it's not coincidence. When something keeps reoccurring, and it's like, how does that happen? Just know it can happen. That's very important. I'm glad that you had that situation. I feel very good for you. I feel happy for you. Enjoy it.
I will.
Sally, do you hear your messages throughout the day?
Well, actually, I do, because I hear it in a song sometimes, just as we were talking about. And I think I don't feel that I get too many messages for myself. I do, but it's probably a little different. I might suddenly open maybe a book, and especially with Aldo, because he knew that I would research. I'm not good at researching, but if I hear something, I'll go into, say, Google, and the exact thing will be there that I'm looking for. I think he's able to do. That's Aldo. I believe that's my guide that people know.
Well, there's a thing called lesson learn, lesson learn, lesson teach. So sometimes what you learn, like we got to know who you were and the gift that you have. And that's what you're teaching us, is the ability of something you've learned.
Right, and that's what I feel that I'm here to do right now, actually. Do I know more than anyone else? No, and I'm the first person to say that. I'm just aware maybe more than some people are. So I feel that my job here is to make people aware, just to know that there is more going on. I can't tell everybody my story, but I've certainly learned through my story and my situations that there is more. It is not coincidental.
Well, Fraser Ramsey says, "Hey Zena, greetings from Edinburgh, Scotland."
Oh, okay. Not quite my hometown, but I was from London, and it's
Pretty cool that he's watching you in Scotland right now,
that's amazing. That's the beauty of the internet. How
Right?
cool is that? Someone from the UK or Edinburgh. Thank you. Very nice to hear from you. Do you have a question? Does he have a question?
We'll
Not
find
yet.
out. Fraser, if you have a question, write it in. Isn't that where Sydney's going?
She's going to Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's amazing. I actually have, Debbie, I don't know if you're there. I'm going to acknowledge you because you do listen to my show, whether it's on the recording. She's from England, too. So we have a few viewers from England.
I know
Hi,
that
Debbie.
you came in here, and I think it was Wednesday, you had a sitting with Megan
Yes.
from Connecticut. And we just learned Megan. We was introduced to Megan. We met her 2 out of the 3 days that she was in Florida, and she came in and she sat with you. How'd that go?
It went amazing. I wish she was here to actually, I believe she's gone back now. But I got some, it's the magic of this studio too, I think, because it wasn't one of my paintings, but there was a painting hanging up there of, I'm not sure even if it's a lady or a man. And I felt tremendous vibrational energy coming from this. I did not tell her from this painting. But she said to me, I feel the energy coming from this painting. So there's something really magical about the studio here. It attracts the right, well, everybody, I can't say is right or wrong, but it's certainly attracting like-minded people in the studio. As she is too. She's only young, but I sensed a lot, and I gave her some really good messages that she was very happy to receive. Especially one of them, I don't always remember, I don't always remember my show. But I used a saying in one of the messages that I was giving her, and she said, oh my God, I say that all the time. I don't remember the word, but it was
glitch.
Glitch. I never use the word glitch. Is she there listening? Okay, and it was glitch. So it gave her validation that someone was listening to our conversation from beyond, I'm going to say.
And she's young to be so spiritually connected.
Well, I felt, and I'm sure she doesn't mind me saying this because we're not actually mentioning her name, but she was a very old soul. She's come here, and she's only 23, but I sensed very much, she was very philosophical. Oh, that's a hard word to say, especially when I'm kind of in a trance. But I actually got the lady that started the Philosophical Society. Her first name was Helen. And I felt very, very connected to this woman, as she did too. So there was messages coming from that, and that's from the 18th century. So there is no time. I feel this is a good time to kind of say this. There is no time on the other side. So basically, we can get messages from 14th, 15th century. We see that, but they don't. They can go back. We may not relate to that because we don't always remember our past lives. But when you begin to open up, I've had many, many messages from the 15th century.
And so it doesn't matter. That goes back to your time travel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I had had this conversation 20 years ago with you guys, I'd say, what in the world are you talking about? But I've had so much validation over maybe the 20 years from going back to Aldo, who was with me in the 15th century. I often say to myself, am I imagining this? But I'm not, because I have drawn things from that century, and I've mentioned this before. I've drawn signs and symbols which I had not even seen. I'm just like anyone else. I'm going, how can this be possible? But I'm doing it. So my message to anybody listening that wants to hear what I'm saying, please believe that for me, this totally exists. I've had too much validation. And we do attract people to this wonderful place where I'm sitting, the Brooklyn Cafe. Anybody locally, please come in. Listen to me. Ask me questions. I'm here on a Monday. You guys are here all week.
Well, I got a question. People that are suffering from high anxiety, or people that are suffering internally from whatever reason, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not listening to guides. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's, or does it? I mean, what is it that's going on? Is it a physicality or is it a spiritual issue?
Actually, I like that because it's kind of a deep question, but it deserves a good answer. I have anxiety. I've often talked about that. I suffered many years ago from depression, but it doesn't mean, we're on a path and we're here to learn, and I believe that's very important. And sometimes we have things that give us anxiety, especially if you're prone to that. And I've had a few things over the last few weeks, and I'm saying, oh my God, is this happening again? I've gone through this. But what I'm learning from that is that I believe we go through, and I've said this before, situations with the same anxiety that we had maybe 10 years ago with a similar situation. I think we have to get it right. And every time we get there to that situation, although it may have a different outcome, if we learn from that, I think it gets easier. But I think it keeps repeating itself, and I believe very much in reincarnation. It'll keep showing itself till we get it right. And what we get right might not be the same for someone else getting it right. It's where I'm coming from. I know, and I may not be aware of it, but I'm going through something similar that I've gone through before, and I need to get it right. There's no point in me saying, oh my God, this is happening again to me. I need to learn from that so it won't happen again. It's easy to say. It's very easy, very difficult to do.
Yeah, how do you realize what the message? I know we're off topic of vibrational energy.
No, that's okay.
But how do you realize you see the message, right? You've acknowledged that you're supposed to be learning something. How do you know what you're supposed to be learning,
Well,
and then
actually,
what do you do with it?
helps in a way, because if it's something similar I've gone through, I'll say to myself, okay, I don't want to go through this again, but I didn't get it right the last time. You'll recognize some of the signs. It may be different, as I call them, characters of people in your life, but that same situation, and I'm sure anybody listening will think to themselves, oh yeah, what I'm going through now happened to me 7, 8 years ago, or whenever. Didn't get it right. You still might not get it right. It's going to happen again. And I've said this before. It's going to happen again maybe in the next lifetime if we don't get it right. I mean, I can't prove any of this, but I know that this is what I truly feel. Truly.
Do you think changing vibrational energy is a way to help? And then how do you change the energy?
Your mindset. And I don't do this all the time. But if I recognize something and it's making me feel anxious, I say to myself, okay, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get over this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to look at this logically. How do we solve this? So I don't want to keep going on with it. Everybody's situation is different. Of course it is. But if we recognize it, and just like any problem, even when we're in school, we have a problem. We've got to solve it. Let's try and solve it.
But then I had to cut you off because I need to then understand, is it perception of what we have, or is it the art of learning perception?
I think it's a little bit of both, Freddie, because we look, as we grow, and I'm seeing this, and they're coming through very strongly with this, our perception of the same situation that we had will change. It's our perception that's very important, because if we see that same problem happen, say maybe 6, 7 years ago, different situation, but the same problem, it's our perception. So if we've grown, our perception is going to change, and they're coming through very, very strongly. So when we see that, look at it from another perspective. That's really the word they're saying to me. Try to see it from another point of view, another perspective. Even it's happening to us, but let's look at it as we're looking at ourselves, but we're not judging ourselves. So go through it, and you'll see the anxiety will lessen. And as that happens, we then will maybe end that particular situation. It takes time, and it takes learning. I'm beginning to see that.
I got a question. So, I'm a firm believer that we have positive and negative voices. How do you quiet the negative ones?
By talking to the negative side. You know, they often used to say as children, we have someone on this shoulder, we have somebody on that shoulder. Okay, if we're aware of that, and whatever we're hearing, that's negativity, let's try and change. It's not easy, but let's say, okay, this is too negative. I don't want to hear this anymore. What do you want to tell me that's positive? Talk to yourself about that and listen more to the positivity. Every situation is different, of course.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
it
My
make
guide
sense?
here is the one that says, does that make sense?
It does.
Thank you.
Sally, I shouldn't even say this. Do you have a message for Baxter from his uncle?
Only that exactly what happened, you asking me those questions, yes, he is definitely coming through for you through music, because you're going to relate to that, okay? You're going to feel him. I feel like I'm getting goosebumps all over me. He is absolutely with you right now. Just trust that feeling, and you're going to see many, many more messages. Be aware, he's wanting me to tell you that. He has not left you. There are many messages there for you. A lot through music. That's very, to me, that came through very strong for you.
You're giving me goosebumps.
I'm
Well-
definitely
Well,
getting
but
goosebumps.
the other thing is that he has to understand what those messages, how they reflect to his behavior, because sometimes when you don't understand what's being said, or you don't understand even what you feel, you end up hurting yourself more than helping yourself because you don't understand. So where is the patience? How do we learn more
I
to
think
understand?
by not being hard on yourself, don't question every single thing. Let it go with the flow. Accept a lot of the things. We tend to criticize ourselves a lot. So if we can just let that go and go with perhaps all this is real and enjoy each situation as it happens, go with it. And you'll find that so much will open up to that. Stop questioning, is this real? Why is this happening to me? Just go through it the best that we can. And I think we'll learn something from that. I'm still doing that, and I'm going through it. But I do question myself sometimes. Why am I so anxious? I never used to question that. I just went with anxiety. Today I say to myself, I don't need to be that anxious. Even if it helps just a little bit, it's very important.
But then you have to trust the process.
You have to trust the process. That's very important,
You
Freddie.
know how hard it
Absolutely.
is to trust the
It's
process?
difficult, but life isn't easy. But if we don't trust that, look, well, we're not looking ahead at a good future here. We need to trust the process.
But then
It will
you're
work.
right. You won't learn if you don't trust the process. All of
That's
this goes for
exactly
that, no?
right. So we need to trust that process. You know, they say bad things happen to good people. We're all really good. We're all really maybe bad. Just trust that process. Yes, stuff happens to everybody. It's how, getting back to the word perception, they're giving that to me very strongly. It's how we perceive it. We can change situations, even in the middle of some things that seem so bad. There is good. They always say there's light at the end of the tunnel. That's true too. There is light at the end of the trouble. I'm going through something a little bit at the moment. I don't really want to talk about it, but it's a health issue, not with myself, but with someone that I care about. I have to trust the process. It's so important to say, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to be all right. And you know what? I'm not saying it always happens, because it doesn't. But the process is there for whatever we're meant to go through.
So how do we change the vibrational energies to help people get through anxiety times, to get through those hard times? I feel as if we can stay positive, as everyone says, stay positive. How do we do that? How do we elevate it?
I'm going to say, even just turn on some music. Do whatever you feel that I'm an artist, so I feel that I'm going to paint, and I paint, and it helps me to get through difficult times. Whatever, everybody is different. I love music. I'll put on something that's fun to listen to. Dance, sing, whatever it takes to lift that vibration. And yes, it'll come back, but remember the last time that you did something to lift that vibration and go back to what you were doing the last time.
Should we take a commercial break?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And I hate to say I see you on the other side, and I say that, but I see you other side in the studio.
With any questions, 888-994-4995.
Or write in your questions.
All right. In.
I see you've got cousin Linda watching as well.
Hi, Linda.
More to come.
This world, this life, this illusion. What is going on, we ask? What is happening? Why not take time and see what is happening? This world as we know it, it seems so real and yet so far away from where we've come. Corruption, greed, anger, power, revenge. Please wake up. We can change what is around us. How, we may ask. Learn to go back to where we were. Then we will have the clues. Then we can change and go forward. Please take the time. Do not fall into the game which we have put upon ourselves. We can change. We can make a difference. We have the power, each and every one of us. Go in peace. Go with love. Go as one. Zena.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came to the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest in art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she's able to astral project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life's direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today.
Away from
we're back. Questions? I'll have the answers, hopefully.
We're
Please
talking
give me
about bringing people into the studio, right?
Yes.
To have a live studio audience for your show that you can answer questions.
Yeah, and I guess we're in Boca Raton, and I'm sure the surrounding areas. If there's anybody listening, or maybe not now, but they hear our show, please give the word. I'm here every Monday. You have two wonderful people here that are in the cafe all the time, and they run the cafe. Just come down here. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see you. And I will answer if you come to my show on a Monday, 2:30. I'm going to let you talk maybe a little bit about the show. I'm here to answer questions or call in, either way.
Call in 888-994-4995, Studio A. We're working on all of your social media platforms and growing those as well. But you're always here to answer questions, to raise energy, to raise the vibration.
Right.
We try to do that with music. We try to do that with the art and bringing different people in. But people are at a different place in life right now. It's very cyclical.
Right. It's timing. Timing is very important. But the people that have come into the cafe all seem to want to come back. They love it here. To me, it's a very magical place. I'm saying that, and you know that. I'm saying that I'm on the air, but even when I'm not, I say the same things to you guys. So come in. What more can I say? You'll enjoy it here.
You know, Sally, it's really funny because some people come in here and they do very well. And things happen where the platform that they had either somewhere else or some other time, it changes. It's to the positive. And for some reason, they become more demanding. And the lesson seems to get turned sideways. Instead of giving, they take even more. And they take more. And it becomes more demanding. All of a sudden, you're putting a cup over the flame and you're extinguishing it. And nothing is learned in that scenario. But that has happened a lot recently. There are shows right now that are doing outstanding work. And when they come to our platform, it does grow. And it does go. But I think that people just don't understand that this is a give and take process. Not just, you got to learn, but you got to give as you're learning, no?
Exactly, yes.
But isn't that life? Isn't life supposed to be a give and take process?
Yes, because that's how we learn. I mean, we go with the ups and the downs, which we were just talking about. It's really important because if everything was just plain sailing, what are we going to learn? If everything was really bad, we'd just give up, never continue to get bad. So there's a balance. I think the key to this is a balance. It's just, you know, I know that the few people that I have definitely met over the year and a half that I've been in this studio here doing my show have been very upbeat, positive people. It's just, you know, go with the flow. If it feels good, keep doing it. Many people, sometimes they're so used to bad happening to them that when good happens, they'll go, how did that happen? But change that thought. Once things start to go good, continue with that good. It will continue. I'm guilty of that too. People say, I'm having a bad day. Tomorrow's going to be a bad day. That's what happens. So
But how do you deal with people, Sally, that you, and I've seen it even around you, where people meet you, greet you, and then nothing positive comes from it, and all they are, they begin to take, and they begin to take, and they become to take. And you, at least you control your show and your destiny. But when you're working with other shows and other destinies, you have to you have to dance around that kind of behavior. How do you deal with that?
just, you know, always give your point of view. Continue. Say, you know, if someone is a negative person, they have to change. You're not here to change. I often say I'm not here to change the world. But what I can do is give positive feedback. And I think, and I had it here. I've met a few people here that say, oh, I've got to get hold of you. I'd love to talk with you. And maybe I'm guilty with that too because I don't follow through. But you know what? Follow through. Even if it doesn't work, sometimes you never know the right person that we're talking to. If we don't follow through, we're never going to know. So when someone hands me a card and I go, okay, I wait for them to contact me, maybe I should contact them. We get messages. Continue with, if you feel good about something, and this is human nature. They go, oh, I met the most wonderful person today. I may never see that person again. Why don't we follow through with that wonderful person? I'm guilty of that. I don't.
Because I think nature says it's too good to be true.
That's exactly
This
right.
can't be something. Why would they beeline towards you to ask you a question? But maybe it's the universe and the guide sending that message to you to say, you know what, this is your window or your door that's opening.
That's right. And actually, this is a very good topic because I think we're all guilty of that. And in fact, many years ago, and it comes back to me, and I didn't understand what I learned today now. I was in an airport in Michigan flying back to Florida. And I had the strangest situation at that time. I see it now. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. There was no one in the airport except a lady came and sat next to me. And she started to give me all this positivity. And I said, well, why is she doing this? She was nice. I get on the plane. Guess who the seat was allocated next to me was the same lady. So I thought, she's a very nice lady. I should keep in contact with her. She gave me her number. To this day, I've never called her. Should have done. But
You should have called her.
Of course I should have done. But we don't always act on that. We're
We
given
don't do what we're
messages,
supposed
and
to do.
especially important messages. You know, that person will show up and again in our lives, even if it's 6, 7 years later. It's happened to me.
Because you think it's an imposter syndrome. As in, I was at a party Saturday night and was at my cousin's house. And it was all her birthday party and her friends. I didn't know anyone. And I'm at a table with everyone, and this guest of hers beelines to me and starts asking me a million questions. Not the other 8 people at the party. A million questions. And they all sat and looked to see, could I handle these questions? Well, yes. So it turns out he's someone that you and I need to bring into the studio. He says, I'll call you. Well, he hasn't. Do I reach out to him?
Absolutely, yes. And I'm going to say I'm very guilty of that. I don't follow up sometimes. But, you know, a couple of years later, I may say to myself, why didn't I follow up on that? Yes. What's the worst thing that can happen? They don't send a text back or they don't call you back. But at least you made that effort. It's very important to make that effort, okay? Very important. I need to tell myself that too. So I'm the first person not to do that.
So I'm going to
Please
make
do.
that phone call.
Yes, make.
See, and then I get the face.
No.
I get
You
the
know,
face.
It's okay because Freddie may be coming from a different place. But if you do it, that's all right. Just vice versa. You may say something to Dawn.
No, I agree 100% with this thing. I've seen people in the move. I was talking to my Xfinity rep, and he says, oh, you have a show in Boca? I go, yes, I do. I says, why don't you come over and we'll have a drink at the new place that I'm moving to? I don't know the guy from Adam, but it doesn't matter to me. Never has. Never
Because
has.
I don't believe, and I said this again, anybody that comes into your life, it may not be an important situation.
It may not
could
be.
for an hour.
Yeah.
It could be for just somebody bangs into you or something. I honestly believe today, and I was saying this the other day, there is a reason. Maybe nothing very much. However, we don't know. That reason could be much more, and it could be leading into something that we're going to do, let's say, in our future. It's not accidental. I really believe that. Even if it's for a minute, it's not accidental. I mean, take me coming into the studio here. I was invited 3 years ago, or 4 years ago now, probably. You're in another studio. Please come in by someone. They kept saying, you'll love these people here. Didn't take any notice. And I kept seeing you. I saw your commercials and things. Maybe I should pop in there. It took someone else who was a good friend of mine to say, come into the studio. I didn't even know it was the same place because you're in a different place. But the moment I walked in, I knew I was in the right place. Might not have listened to her either. I did.
It's funny because a lot of people, they can come and they see it, and they don't show up. I've heard so many different reasons. But the bottom line is you don't need a reason. Mm-hmm. The door, the invitation is always open. Yesterday, Usher was the halftime show at the Super Bowl. And the first minute and a half he took to let the world know how grateful he was for them giving the opportunity to do that. Now, this guy is a somebody. He's somebody who's done music and everything else. He brought all of his friends to that event. He wanted everybody to know that it wasn't Usher's moment. It was his whole legacy moment.
Right.
And all his friends are there. So sometimes you got to do something and look at and be grateful for the opportunity that you can share it with somebody else. And that's going to require patience. And that's going to require you understanding that they don't see it the way you do. But you have the opportunity to do it.
Gratitude is very important. Gratitude, and be grateful. Even if you think everything is going wrong, look at what has happened or what may have brought you to that situation, and look at all the good things that happen, not always the negativity and the bad things. Gratitude is really important, very important.
Helps change your perspective.
Perspective. That was a good subject today. It is perception. Perception. It's very important how we perceive.
You know, someone walked in here today, and he was so happy that there was birthday cake.
Oh,
Right? Some people just take it for granted that there's a cake. It's
Yeah.
another day, there's a cake. He was so happy that
And-
he got a piece of birthday. And I
What-
said to you during the midday, I said, perception. To him, this was the best part of his day, that he got a piece of birthday cake.
right.
And I say to him, why don't you come and hang out? Come and sing. He used to do it before. And for whatever reason, he's another one that's reluctant. And it's like I'm asking anything of him. I'm offering to him.
Well, I think also if we feel that, or a particular person, don't let's always give up on that person just because they don't. It may not be their timing to do something. As I wasn't, my timing obviously for some reason might not have been 4 years ago. It'll show itself again, and then just mine as an example. But I think we will always get the opportunity to go back to that similar situation, be whatever it is. We overlook it many times. That's human. You know, we're human. We're here with all the other things going on in our life. Where is the next meal? Where are we going to get our rent from or our home? And this is going wrong and we get sick. Yes, this is part of living. But let's see deeper than that if we can. Just go a little deeper into this and say that situation keeps showing ourselves, good and bad, because the bad will show itself till it gets good again. Let's not overlook situations and circumstances. Even if we don't like it, that's okay. We don't like it, it's making us feel uncomfortable. It's a feeling. Feeling is very important, good and bad. When there's no feeling, and I said this also, I keep remembering now what I was saying. Actually, if there's an annoyance and it keeps showing itself, when we hear that situation and that annoyance is still there and we don't get feeling, I think then we've learned it. That situation when we were getting good and bad, when there's nothing and there's balance, we finally learned it. Doesn't mean that we don't love or dislike that person. It doesn't matter anymore. On to the next one. I'm learning that. It is so important.
Someone told me the other day, life is like a muffin. Pick out the pieces you don't like. Put it, it's like vegetables. Pick it out, put it aside, and move on, and keep with what works for you.
Absolutely. And just because at that particular time, let's say you're eating the muffin and you put some things aside and you don't like it, you know what? A year later, you can go back to that muffin and pick that piece that you didn't like out, eat it, and enjoy it.
May not like chocolate chips now,
So
but you
now
may
it's a
like it
muffin.
then.
Exactly. That's
Life
a
is
very
like-
good
Life
analogy.
is like
Perception,
a muffin. Pick
because
out
we
what
may have,
you don't want.
we've learned a lot during that last year to perceive that this is ridiculous, but the cooking that went into that muffin was very important.
Life is like a
I
muffin.
think Josh has a question.
Hi.
How's it going?
Everything's good. Well,
That's good.
it's okay, Josh. How's
Yeah.
everything going with you? It's
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good.
So for the past 2 years, I've definitely, the past 2 years of being here, I definitely think I've found a little bit of my voice, a little bit of my confidence, and just found out who I am as a person. But as a leader, I still feel like I have a lot of room to grow. Where do I need to shine, or where do I need to improve myself with my leadership qualities?
Okay, from what I'm feeling right now, they're telling me to exert yourself, not in a, just be aware of some of the things that you feel, because you need to change certain things, not even just with you, but because you are a leader, actually. So when you give somebody, say, advice, and let's say they're not following that, you need to put your leadership there. Tell them or give them an example why they should do that particular thing. Because if you just come out with, oh, don't do it, and get angry, that's not going to solve the problem. So get to the situation, explain the situation as if you're telling them why they should do it. I'm not going to say in a softer way, exert your energy. But you will succeed with this. This is a lesson you're going through right now. It's kind of a new lesson for you because things have happened in the past where you weren't able to see exactly, and you can say, they're not going to do that. You can change, and you need to do that. You don't need to. I always say you do what you want to do, but exert your energy and use it as maybe a third-party situation. This is why you need to do that. So they don't just say, I don't want to do it. Give them an example why they should do that. And I think that may help you. Does that make sense to you?
Okay, so just be a little more patient with everyone around me?
Yes. Be more patient. But give them reasons why. Don't just say, I want you to do it that way. Because that doesn't always work when you say it for some reason.
Okay.
And they might say, I don't want to do it. So kind of softer way of doing it, and you will succeed. You're
Okay.
not wasting your time, okay?
Awesome.
It will happen.
Maybe it's explaining the reason why he wants them to do it a certain way.
Yes, absolutely. And do a third-party story. I told somebody this, and this is what they did, and it worked, right? So it's not just your situation, you're saying it. Give an example of somebody else that did it that way, no matter what the situation is. And I mean, I was in sales for many years, and I used to say, give a third-party story. But you know something? It was amazing how many third story that I had with that same situation that came about. Because we've had experience, as you have, so you can give that third-party scenario.
Is it fair to say that Josh is in an era right now where being a leader from the front is the biggest challenge because of everything that is going on around us in general?
Believe in yourself, Josh. That's really important too. You know, I've always said to you, I truly, and I'm not just saying it now on the show, you are a leader. You are in the right place. You will succeed. But you know who has to convince you of that? You. Know that, okay? You're guided. I can tell you many people are guiding you. We don't necessarily see them, but we hear them. Just know that you are a leader. You can do this. You're still young. Don't let little things bother you that much, okay? You've had a lot of things in your life. I feel that I can see a lot from you because we've gotten to know each other. But it's all good. It's good. Believe that it's good. And if someone doesn't want to really understand you or what you're saying, then maybe they're not in the right place. You are.
Awesome. Thank you.
Again, that's perception.
Getting back to that, it's all perception. It's all perception. Me sitting here, I don't know what we were going to talk about, but my perception, when you mention something to me, it'll come about because I'm open to I'm hearing from my guides. I mean, whether people believe that or not, it doesn't matter, but I believe it. So what I'm saying is coming from a different place, but it's still, they can only give me what my perception is. I don't know where this is coming from, and I may not even remember it. But I know that what I'm saying is truly coming from somewhere else because I'm ready to perceive that. Perception and perceive is very, very important.
So how do you ask your guys, what are we going to be doing next year at the studio to amplify and elevate?
Well, we all have a path to follow. If I feel what I'm doing here, and I believe that, I've said to you, maybe we'll cut the hours of my show, whatever we might need to do, it doesn't matter. I know I'm in the right place. So whatever I do, maybe I'll have a longer show. It'll work out. But also that perception of what I'm saying, and this is really important, you guys have to believe in me just like I believe in you. It's a two-way street or three-way street coming from that. As long as you believe what I'm going to do is going to happen, and I believe what I'm going to do, be it a 3-hour show, a half an hour show, it doesn't matter. It'll work. As long as we believe that, we have to believe that. They're coming through very strongly today. I don't know, we've changed our seating arrangements. I don't know what it is, but I believe that so strongly. As for Josh, what I was saying to him, it's a strong connection there. We are forming a very, very strong connection right now. Very positive, strong connection. Whatever you're going through, we're all going through different things in our life. You told me a little bit about whatever is happening in your life, and in Josh's life, and my life. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. We're sitting here right now going on in the airways, which is very important too, because I'm getting good feedback from the airways right now. I can't explain it. It's a feeling. Oh my gosh, I could go on and on. Please stop me, okay? I feel it, I know it, and it's real, okay? For each one of us sitting here in the studio, Josh, for you too, okay? You feel it. Can you feel it? Can you feel it lifting something? I do. Do you, Freddie?
I do.
Good. And you do, Josh? Good. And I think Baxton's gone.
How do you like the change of set?
I love it. It's very cozy, right? It's very cozy.
It's the nook.
Yes, it is. What did I say? Glitch. That's what I gave my, and I don't ever use that, but I think I'm going to start using glitch. So that was very good. I don't know, I won't remember, but I'm going to certainly listen to the recording on this show.
No, I love the energy, the vibration. What brought us here, we know, was vibrational energy. You and I came here over and over, and I say to you all the time, God would not have brought us here if there wasn't a positive reason for us still to be here. And I truly believe that. So as we have ebbs and flows and businesses ups and downs, I know we are here. We were brought here over and over and over again until we sign this lease.
And it can't be always easy. You got to have times of challenge. Otherwise, you're not going to appreciate the things that you have.
Exactly, exactly. People say to me, and I don't know more than anybody else, why is life so difficult? But if it wasn't, what in the world are we going to learn? Life is not easy, not easy. But if we can raise that vibration, see the word, I'd be there all the time, but I didn't notice it, have faith, be it a higher power, whatever you want, have that faith. Just know that sometimes the invisible becomes visible. Oh, I love that.
Nice.
The invisible
becomes visible.
There you go. I can't think of a better way to wrap this one up.
Absolutely. Great.
And you are available for private readings. To contact Sally, you can reach her right here at the studio, 888-994-4995, Studio A, or all over social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can follow Call Me Zena.
Or you can join us here on the Nook.
Yes, absolutely.
I kind of like that.
Absolutely.
Join us on the Nook.
I'm here. I'm going to be spending a little more time here, I think. And I'm here on Mondays to answer any questions. Thank you,
Perfect.
guys. Perfect. Bye-bye. Enjoy your week. Coincidence or not, it's time to trust your intuition and knowings. Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book, artwork, and contact through artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week. This has been Call Me Zena.